welcome. So if you're watching this video, then I presume you have picked up one of our clay kits from school. So first things first, I want to go over what items you should find in your clay kit. One being a Ziploc bag holding it all together with a block of 4 pounds of clay. You will also find in there a larger trash bag. Inside of it will be rolled up with a small plastic spoon, small plastic fork, and a straw of various colors. Your trash bag might be more clear or it might be white like this one. You'll also find in there a small plastic deli cup. In that deli cup, you will find a toothpick, as well as a safety pin. Paper clip. All right, so now let's talk about what these things are for. So, when you have out your clay, the majority of these things are going to be used as tools for it. So let's say you take your piece of clay, right? And then your next step is to cut off however much you might think you need. One tool I did not include into your bag, but you might want to get access to one, is a butter knife. So when you take out your block of clay and you don't need all of it, it might be helpful to use a butter knife to slice off a small amount of it. You could also use floss in an interesting way. You could take the floss and glide it through your clay, and that should chop off a chunk of it as well. So you got your clay out, right? Just for demonstration of some of our tools, I made a couple little pieces of clay to show you some techniques. All right, so here's the piece of clay that I'm going to show you what some of our tools do with. So one is your plastic spoon. The plastic spoon can be used in a lot of different ways, but primarily to smooth out surfaces. So you can see the surface of this clay is a little rough. If I use the edge of the plastic spoon, I can very easily and efficiently start smoothing out all the texture. You can also get really creative with spoons because there's more than just one side of it. There's two. So you could even use the back end to create a texture. Notice how I'm just kind of pressing it in to the clay. And eventually you can create unique textures. Like this one's kind of coming out to be like a scale type texture. In the same way, you can even use the other side of the clay, of the spoon to create textures. So again, scales just by pressing in the edge of the spoon. So two unique textures you could create just with a spoon. All right, we have the fork. You may or may not have learned yet, depending on when you're watching this video, what scoring means. But essentially, whenever you want to attach clay, it's a two-part system. You want to first rough up the area that you're going to attach on both surfaces, and then you're going to attach slip. We'll learn later more details about what it means to score and slip. It's essentially the process used to attach clay to itself without it wanting to break in the future. If you're doing a project where you really need to learn how to do this, you can always do a quick YouTube search of score and slip clay how to, and you should be able to find out very quickly. All right, so then you guys have this cup, right? This cup with the lid. What this is for is this is to make your own slip. So again, we'll learn about this in the future. If you're an eager beaver and you want to learn how to score and slip to attach clay together, watch a YouTube video. In that same note, if you need to make your own slip because of that, you're going to take clay and water and mix it together in the cup. It always helps if you use dry clay, because if you let the dry clay sit in the water overnight, it should give you a really nice smooth slip or clay glue. Lid is to keep it from drying out. All right, next we have the straw. So whenever you need to create a hole in your project, let's say you're making ornaments or something that's supposed to hang, or you just need some decorative holes, the straw is the way to go. So quite simply, you push the straw through the clay. The clay is kind of hard to go through, so take your time and go slow with it. And then you simply pull the straw out. There might be some clay inside. You can work on getting it out. Be careful because you don't want it to flatten the circle that your straw has. And then you will have a hole in your clay. Toothpick. Toothpick can be used to draw in any sort of details that you need into your clay. Any fine lines, you can make some slightly deeper and some slightly more light, like these. And your paper clip. Paper clip can be used two different ways. You could either completely unravel it and use it a lot like a toothpick, or you can use it like a scoop to scoop away clay. So if I need to use it as a scoop, I just quite literally use the edge of it to pull away the clay, right there. You can of course change the shape of the scoop as well. So if you put a lot of fine-tuned muscle into it, you can make this area more of a point. That way when you scoop out, it scoops out a V shape instead of a U shape. All right. And then in your kit, you will also have a large plastic trash bag. This is to store your actual projects in, to prevent them from drying, of course. The Ziploc bag that your kit comes in is used to store your clay that you're not using. You want to make sure that you carefully don't let your extra clay dry out, or it's going to be almost impossible to use. If you have difficulty and you notice it's starting to get a little bit dried out, you can wrap your clay in a damp paper towel to help prevent that from happening. If you catch it too late, then it's going to be quite a pain, so make sure you keep an eye out for noticing your clay drying out. So that is a summary on the materials included in your clay kits. Throughout the semester, I'll be adding some project ideas for you to check out to give you some inspiration or clay-spiration as you get through the semester. They will all be located under the Resources tab in our Google Classroom. As mentioned in class, if you complete any projects, send them to me. Let me see them, and I'd be happy to throw some extra credit your way.